Hello, I'm here today with Amy Gunnarsson from Niles Discovery Church. And Amy is one of the first people I met when I came to Niles. And I was so excited to find that she was from Maryland. She uh, didn't grow up in Maryland, but she did live in Frederick, Maryland, which was not too far from my hometown of Gaithersburg, Maryland. So it was just so much fun to find somebody who knew what I knew about Maryland. So Amy's here with us today, and we're going to stroll down memory lane with Amy Gunnarsson. And Amy, would you start us off by telling the audience a little bit about your faith journey?
Sure, Veronica. Um, Actually, my faith journey has been a bit sorted in that I started as a Southern Baptist, went to a Baptist church, and it was actually in Oregon, of all places. I grew up with a very firm faith, basically because they connected well with me when I was in my high school years. It was a good thing to be a part of a group that had such strong beliefs. I went alone to church most of the time. This wasn't a family event. This was something that I really wanted and sought. And so as I was growing up, that was a nice basis. But eventually, I needed to go my own way, went to college, and learned that there were a lot of different faiths, a lot of different options, a lot of different places that are ways that people express their faith. And as I grew as a person and learned a lot more about the world, I realized the Baptist church was not a great fit for me. Found my way to a UCC church and started to feel much more comfortable. And then when moving to California, I sought out a UCC congregation and was pleased to find Niles Discovery because it's a blend of two faiths that have really come together in a progressive way so that it is all encompassing and welcomes everyone from wherever they are in life's journey. I love the fact that that is one of our tenements at Niles Discovery. So after arriving, my husband and I both became members fairly soon after moving to California.
Okay. And how did you become acquainted with Niles? Did someone invite you to Niles, or you were just looking around for a church?
We were starting to kind of sample churches in the area, but it was actually a League of Women Voters meeting, which is one of the reasons I love Niles Discovery, because they really have members that are very active in the community,
Yes.
very involved. And the League of Women Voters had met there. I had had a chance to kind of walk around inside this new building, and there was a brochure in the hallway. I went and took that home with me. I do remember now Marilyn Singer being at that meeting as part of the instigator for the league to be there for one of their meetings. And after reading the brochure, I thought, this sounds like an interesting place. And so went back to a service with my husband. Really enjoyed that service, but it was interesting because when we were meeting other people during the very first part of the service, when you kind of shake hands and greet each other, a woman came up to us immediately and indicated, this is a very different kind of church. We're very, very, very progressive. Be prepared because our pastor is gay. And Tom and I were like, wow, kind of interesting to hear that right off the bat. And she basically said, you need to consider that, because if that's not acceptable to you, then Niles probably isn't a good fit. And it was such a strange sort of conversation, but it also is kind of the way things are. We are as a group, we're very truthful and honest with each other, and people they proclaim, that this is a progressive place. This is a place truly where everyone is welcome.
Yeah. So you were convinced right away that Niles was the right place for you. That's beautiful. And God's love was so present and just overwhelming for me when I first visited Niles. Did you have that same experience? Did you just feel the presence of God?
I did. I did. And both my husband and I, we had been seeking a place where we could feel that kind of fellowship and friendship and love.
Yeah.
We had moved from the from the East Coast to the West Coast. We really are, even now, continue to be the only people from our family that are right here. Most of our family members are on the East Coast. So it was important to us to feel that level of comfort and love. I remember Pastor Jeff during the actual service, it just sort of exudes from him that, I want you to be here. You're important to me. But then Pastor Brenda actually had contacted us and immediately set up a time for coffee. And I could tell from her too, there was a warmth that it's sort of this definite unconditional sort of love coming from her too.
Yes.
It was a good feeling. Still is a good feeling.
Yes. Yeah, I had that meeting with Pastor Brenda also, and it convinced me 100%. I'm like, this is just pure love. And all your families on the East Coast, and even your old friend Veronica is back on the East Coast. I'm looking forward to your visit.
Yes, in October. I'm serious here.
Yeah. All right. I look forward to it. So I worked with you while I was there, and I am back on the East Coast now, but still connected with Niles. But I work with you in the hospitality ministry, and you've done some great work in that ministry. And the most recent thing, well, it's not the most recent thing, but the thing that stands out to me is what your group did to bring the church together on Valentine's Day, right in the middle of COVID, when COVID was at its height. Would you share a little bit about that, and then just share whatever else you get out of that ministry, the things that bring you joy and give you a great deal of satisfaction in working and being a part of Niles Discovery?
Sure. Yeah, when arriving at Niles Discovery, Tom and I wanted to get involved. And I specifically was looking for a place that would be very different from work. As a nurse, work can be extremely stressful. And so it was like, I want a place that's sort of fun, that will allow me to experiment a little bit and be creative. So I ended up volunteering on the hospitality committee. And as a team, we put together events that hopefully will make people have opportunities for fellowship and also opportunities just to share with each other and be together. And during COVID, this was a particular challenge because, of course, we weren't meeting in person. And it was difficult for us to think of some options. So we started to learn a little bit about how we could use the Zoom forum and how we could plan events that way. And we have done events on Zoom that were successful. But this particular event was not on Zoom. It was designed so that everybody in the congregation could get involved. So we chose for Valentine's Day to begin sending Valentines, a very simple concept. We would all encourage each other to at least be paired with one person for Valentine's and make sure that that person received a Valentine. And from that tiny little idea, it just grew. So we as a team sort of paired people up so that they could be together. But then people started to say, well, wait, I want to send Valentine to this person. I know this person could use a bit of cheering up. I have an idea. This person is really special and funny, and I just want to send them a funny Valentine. There were other people that said, maybe more than just a card. How about if I drop something off at their house and let me make it a secret so they don't know who it is? So the whole thing was designed so that it would be a secret until Valentine's Day, where we had the big reveal. And people would get to know who had been sending them cards and letters and maybe dropped off a gift or two. And then we also we wanted to make sure that everyone in the whole congregation at the end would be included. So there were Valentines done online even that could be sent to everybody. And then it was such a kick at the end to find out who had been doing all these special little things for you during those few weeks in February. And it turned out to be even a greater gift to those that were doing the giving. I remember at one point I had 10 different people that I was navigating, and it was just a joy. Plus, it was plain old fun with COVID not being able to be in contact. And this was still a way to be safe because we were dropping things off without any face-to-face meetings. It was just a blast. So now it's become a tradition. We did it again this year, and it's likely we will do it again next year, even with COVID fortunately receding.
Good. And I even got a gift and a card here on the East Coast.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I just think it was, there's just so much fun in everything the hospitality committee does. And I appreciate that committee and you, and thank you for doing this interview with me today. I love Niles Discovery Church. You're one of the big reasons that I love Niles Discovery
You
Church.
sweetheart.
And thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
God
Wow, this
bless.
is wonderful. You too.